Oh, it's on. Hmm. Oh, he's live. But can anybody hear me? How do I turn on the chat? What's up, guys? 5 people watching. I might have to stop this stream and restart it. The chat's not popping up here. I'll be back if anybody's watching. Man, the quality's horrible. Stop. Hey, what's up? Can you see me? Can you see me? The preview on my screen looks really, really bad. Or can you hear me? Okay. Can hear me. Does the screen look really horrible? Because the preview looks really bad. It's going to be hard to show you guys stuff if it's the screen's fuzzy. So you can make out the words on the, like, in the Anime Studio program and stuff? Like, it looks okay? Can one of you guys do a favor for me and unsubscribe and then subscribe again? I just want to see if the alert thing works on here. I made my own overlay for my screen and stuff, but I don't know if I'm using these widgets right. So. Looks like it's not working. Oh man. Let's see. Got that open. Oh, I heard something. There we go. Okay, it is working. It must just take a while to pop up and stuff. Okay, cool. I think everything's good to go. Sorry I'm not talking or anything. I'm still getting used to this. This is only my third time going live. It's like 2 in the morning here too. So, let's see. Well, I was just gonna go through something really fast and show you guys. I was really excited about Avengers Endgame, and I made that Marvel intro. So now I'm gonna show you guys something I came up with to make the Doctor Strange force field or shield. So, but you guys go ahead and keep sending me questions. I'll keep trying to look over to the chat. I don't know why the chat's not coming up in YouTube though. But I see it in the over here, so should be okay. Okay, so let me make sure I got it centered still. I'm gonna make a new document real quick. So what's up? I'll just keep talking, and you guys keep sending me messages if you want. I'll keep trying to look over here, divide the time. I don't know how people watch chat at the same time, but I guess they just talk. But I'm going to be showing you something, so I'm going to start off by making a... Oh, no, I'm going to turn the grid on. So I'm going to hit Command G, and I'm just going to make that Doctor Strange shield pretty fast. I'm going to go ahead and leave the auto stroke on and create a circle, and I'm going to hold Shift down and select dark brown. And I'm just going to create a circle. I'm holding down Shift and Option so it expands right from the center. So there's our first circle. And I'll create another one. And maybe a small one like that. And this is just going to be the base for the, I don't know what you'd call it, spell shield, whatever. We'll call this circles. So I'll rename it, and then I'll create a new vector layer, and I'll call this squares, and I'll do the same thing. I'll select square, and I'm going to go ahead and expand it to right about there. I'll hit Command C, Command V to copy and paste. I'll hold Shift down to turn it, and then I'll hold Shift down and select the first square, and I'll Command C, Command V to copy those two. Then I'll just spin this right to about where I need it to get this kind of cool pattern. And then I'm going to make another layer. So I'll add that. Call this shapes 1, well, just shapes. And this one I'm going to draw over on the side a little bit just so I can kind of, oops, do a little design to it. So I'll do that. Drawing a regular square, hitting T and moving it over. All I'm going to do is make it kind of indented really quick. So I'll go 5 in, 5 squares in, drag this down. Go 5 squares in over here. Do the same for all the sides. So I'm going to do 5. Drag that down. And I'm just looking at the squares to kind of line everything up. Like that. 5, 2 down. Just kind of repeating the shape. This would be easier to make in Illustrator. But oops, one more over. I want to show how you can do everything in Anime Studio. So show you that even this can be done in it. And 4, 3, 4, 5. Move that up. So now we've got this kind of little geometric shape. Something's off here. Oh, this is in the wrong spot. There we go. So now I've got this little geometric shape. I'll try and put it into the center as best I can, right there. Go ahead and shrink it. I'm holding Option down so it shrinks directly to the center. Put it there. Something's off. Oh, there it is. Okay. Now it's in the center. Put that there. I'll copy and paste, Command C, Command V again, and then I'll hold Shift down so it rotates 45 degrees. Got that nice kind of looking shape there. And then I think that's all I'll do right now is real simple. You know, the actual Sheild has script around the circle and stuff like that, but you can't really type on the pathway right there. So right now it doesn't look like anything. It's kind of nothing. But we're going to go ahead and create... Actually, let's do some animation real quick. Let's grab these shapes real quick. Go to frame 1 or frame 0. Go to the squares, and I'm going to go ahead and go to frame 36. And I'm just going to start rotating. Or actually, I'm going to rotate the whole layer. So I'm going to click on the Transform Layer tool. Rotate a little bit. And up in the angle, I'm going to type in 360. Or negative 360, whichever way you want it to spin. And then the first frame I'm going to select, and I'm going to say Linear. And then on the last frame, I'm just going to right-click and say Cycle. So all we're doing now is we're just going to continually spin those squares up there like that. But to make it just a little bit more interesting, we'll go ahead, let's expand that to 60 frames. We'll just duplicate that now that it has an animation and it has the looping already. Once we've duplicated it, all we have to do is pull that cycle a little bit farther away or closer to give it this kind of cool effect where they overlap each other and just make kind of a spiral graph effect. Just by duplicating and moving that cycle a little bit, you get this kind of cool spinning. Let me turn the grid off so you guys can see. So right there, we already got a little bit of cool geometric animation. We'll do the same thing with the shapes. Go to frame 96. I will rotate it just a little bit. I'm going to make it spin the other way, so instead of negative, I'm just going to type in 360. Again, I'm going to go to the first keyframe on frame 0 and select Linear. The reason I'm selecting Linear is so it's one continuous speed, and it doesn't slow down or stop, it just keeps going. And then right-click and Cycle, and now we have that spinning the other way, like that. And we can do the same thing again. We'll just duplicate it. I'll pull the last keyframe out so it rotates a lot slower. Now we've got this cool flower effect or spiral graph effect again. And now it doesn't look like it's really cool because it's not glowing or anything, but we're going to change that real quick. I'm going to create another. Actually, I'm going to put this in the group. We'll just call this Dr. Strange Sheild. Sheild. Can't spell. Okay, and we're just going to grab everything and drop it into that folder. So now that's just all there. And I'll create a new vector layer. And this is going to be the background. Background. And we'll just make this black, so I'll select the square shape and turn the grid on just so I can fill it or snap it right to the edges. So there's the background. Let me turn the grid off so you guys can see. Now we've got this brown spinning, whatever you want to call it. So right now it doesn't look very cool, but now we're going to do some layering and add some effects to make this look more like the Doctor Strange effect. So now that we've got that, we are going to just duplicate that entire folder. So I'll hit that. Hello, tutorials for insomniacs. That's right. I work at night, so you know, this is kind of right when I get off work, really. So now, all we're going to do is double-click the second folder that we just duplicated, and we're going to say Layer Blending Mode. We'll change that to Add, and we're going to blur it just a little bit. And we'll just do like 3 and hit OK. So even though this looks brown right now, let me do a Command R and render it. You can kind of see it's starting to glow. That's because I changed the layer effect mode, blending mode, but I'm going to just duplicate this a couple times. So now there's 4 different shields. Let me render that. Command R. All of a sudden it starts looking like it's glowing, which is really cool. So I'll do one more. And you can make as many as you want. Just keep in mind that if you're doing a bunch of duplicates of a folder, the more you make, the longer it's going to take to render. Just be aware of that when you're doing this. This time I'm going to double click that last shield I made, and I'm going to blur this even more. I'm going to blur it like 11 and apply. And then I'm just going to go into the folder. I'm going to go ahead and hit Command A and select all my strokes. And then I'm going to hit W, and I'm just going to make them a lot bigger. So you see how I'm just making them thicker? This is actually just going to be the last part of the glow. So I'll go to the squares, Command A, W for changing the width, and then I'll make those thicker. Do the squares, Command A, W, make those thicker again. Those are just, it's a duplicate, so it's right underneath the one we just did. Shapes 1, Command A, W for width, make that thick. And then the last one, Command A, and then W, and make that thicker too. So because we double-clicked that and blurred it like 11, now it should be pretty fuzzy or glowy. So if I do Command R now, if you guys saw how that rendered, it rendered all of the first copies, and then the last one it kind of popped a little bit. It kind of glowed. So let me render that again. See, at the very end, it's just really glowing, I guess. So now we have, really quickly, I mean, I did that in, what, a couple minutes? Let's see, and we have 7 layers that we copied. And I'll go ahead and render that really fast so you guys can see how that looks. Export animation. I'm just going to render it half the frames, just smaller, just so you guys can kind of get the gist of it. And actually, let's do this. Let's only render like 100 frames, so it's a little bit faster. You guys don't have to wait. I'll just call this Sheild. I want to ask you all, who use Mohawk? Do your colors change? Oh, mine do. Mine always change after exporting. I don't know exactly why. Maybe somebody knows at Smith Micro, or maybe one of you guys know. But yeah, the colors definitely change a little bit. So now you can see this is rendering. And it's actually going pretty fast. But it's going really fast. But you can see how cool this looks without, I mean, I just made a couple of squares, a couple circles, and a really simple shape. And it turns into this really complex geometric flowery thing really fast. So I think it's pretty cool. But I'm going to try and show you guys if I can do it again, because I tried it this morning. The spark effect that flies off of it. And there it is. It's a little fast. But I mean, you guys get the idea. You can slow that way down. The only problem is if you change the speed, it's going to change only in one folder. So I'm going to delete all those folders, go back into my original one, and I'm just going to change the cycles for these. So I'll go to squares, I'll pull this one way out. Hello. Go to this one. Oops. Squares. And squares 2. I'll pull them way out, up into the 200s. It doesn't really matter where. It's kind of better that it's random. So I'll do that and that. Let's see how fast those spin. I don't know. It's kind of still pretty fast. What's up? Now that I've done that, I'll do it again one more time. So we'll duplicate once, double click the folder, and we'll change the blur radius to 3, just a little bit, and then add. When you change this to add, this is what's making that brown color that I used for the stroke turn yellow, because every time you're adding more brown, it just gets brighter and brighter. It's just adding more light, more of the same color on top of it. I don't know if that makes sense, but it just gets brighter and brighter. That's why it gets looks more glowing when we add more. So I'll hit OK, render that. It's starting to glow, but we need quite a few more, so let's duplicate those a few more times. We'll do 5, then we'll do 6. Now it's really glowing. And the reason why it looks like it's glowing as opposed to it just turning yellow is because of the blur that we did. So it's blurring out to brown. So if you look at the edges, you can see that it's actually brown. That's what makes it look like it's glowing. So that last one, let's go ahead again, blur the radius a little more. We'll do 11. And I'm just repeating what I did before, just so you guys can see. Select the circles, Command A to select everything. W to make the width bigger, so we'll make that thicker. Same thing with the squares, Command A, W, click and drag to make those bigger. Go to the next one, Command A, W, make that bigger. Next one, Command A, W, making the strokes bigger. And last one, Command A, W, make the strokes bigger. So let's render that. Now it's really looking like it's glowing, so it's pretty cool. I was just going to ask you about the sparks. Yeah, I was messing with it, and I think I got it. I'm sure I can tweak it and make it better, but I'll show you what I've got so far. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and delete all the glows just for now, because we want to put the glows on the sparks too. So now I'm just going to go back to the very first one. So we just have those brown patterns. I'm tired, man. I can't even talk right. Okay, so we have our shield animation. Now we want to add some sparks, so of course we need to use particles. So I'm going to draw, or I'll create a new vector layer, and I'm just going to call it spark. And I'm going to go into the center, zoom in here real quick. Command G, just so I can turn the grid on. It's just going to make it easier to draw. I'm going to draw a circle, and I'm going to use the fill color of dark brown again, just the same as the lines. I'm just going to draw a circle right here. Actually, take off the stroke and just have autofill. So let me grab that same color. So now we have this little circle. I'll hit T. I'm just going to turn the grid off, and I'm going to squish it a little bit. And hit G. I'm going to grab the top and bottom points and use C to curve them. I'm going to make it sharp just so it's just a little leaf shape, pretty small. And holding Option down, I'll shrink it down so it's right in the dead center. So let's turn the shield off for a second. All we're going to do is turn the spark on. And let's go to add a new particle layer. And we'll call this sparks, plural. And then I'll drag that in there. So now we have the sparks coming out. Or I mean just particles, they're just flying out everywhere. And we want to connect this to the circle and keep spinning around one of them. So, I think, how did I do this before? I had to... Okay, so I have the folder selected for the sparks. Let me turn this back on. Now with the particle layer selected, I think I do follow paths. Yeah. So once I hit follow paths, you can see everything in the shield folder lit up. I'm just going to click on the outer circle and see how it kind of hooked up to it. Kind of just popped in there. I'm going to, under the percentage, I'm going to type in 0. So it's going to start at the very top. And then I'm going to go forward to like 72. I mean, I don't know. I can always change this, but I'm going to go forward in the timeline, and now I'm going to type 100. So what that's going to do is it's going to make the particle effects start from that little circle that I created, and it's just going to loop around. So when I drag this around, you can see really slowly that the particles are shooting off the circle. But they're super random, and we don't want that, but we'll try and fix that here in a sec. And we also want it to keep going around, so we're going to do the same thing that we did for the rotation. So frame 0, right click, linear. Again, linear is just to keep the speed exactly the same so it doesn't slow down or speed up. It just keeps going round and round. And then last keyframe, right click and cycle. And it's probably going to be too fast. Yeah, they're just going to fly everywhere. Let's pull this last keyframe way out to like 192. So if I hit the animation, you can see the particles are coming out at all times from that circle. But it's really random. So now we kind of need to go fix that. And let's click on the particle layer. And I'm just going to move it down so we can kind of see where the particles are going right now. One man can create cartoon animation video 3 and 4 minutes? Yes. I've created pretty small ones with like 1 or 2 backgrounds in a day. It took me, honestly, to do a cartoon that's only 3 or 4 minutes can take, I don't know, 5 hours, even more. It depends on what you're doing. You can do all of my little movie intro, if you've seen any of my tutorials with cartoon intros, and those are about 1 minute or 2 minutes, they always take hours. Depends on how many characters you have, how much music you're putting in, all that kind of stuff. But for pretty simple stuff like what I'm doing, yeah, it takes me a little bit, you know. I don't think it's very long, though. I mean, because I've seen people take months to create cartoons, and you can create cartoons that are fairly long in a day or 2. It just depends on what you're trying to do. Okay, so the particles. Does Anime Studio 11 have some kind of advantage over Moho? I just use Anime Studio 11 for a couple reasons. One is because I always want people who have older versions to be able to use my tutorials. And then the other thing was I had an issue with Moho 12 crashing a lot. I think they've fixed it now, but I'm kind of using the old Anime Studio 11 just to make sure that you guys can always find my tutorials useful. So that's really the only reason. They do have more features in 12, and there's things that I really should study more and make more tutorials about, but I don't know. I'm kind of just winging it. I'm so used to 11, so I don't know. We'll see. They're making Moho 13, so we'll see. Hasn't crashed. Okay, well I'll check it out. Yeah, it's basic. It's the same, so it should be good. Okay. Let's see. Okay, the particles. So they're kind of shooting off randomly, and we want them to be a little bit more uniform. So I'm going to put in quite a few particles. Keep in mind, if you're doing particles, the more you put in, again, the harder it is going to be for your computer to render. So I'm putting in 400 right now, and previewing 400 so I can actually see them all. That's a lot. So right now they're spinning upwards and then kind of falling back down. And then with the rotation, they're just going all over the place. So let's see. This is all just guesswork. This is the stuff I was doing this morning. So we want the acceleration, maybe spin like that. I should have made it, let's see, what's that look like? No. Other way. Particle, acceleration. We want it to go to the left. And maybe we should turn the particle layer itself. So let's click on there we go. Oh, hold shift down so it just snaps at a 45-degree angle. So there's that. Let's see what it looks like when it spins those. Okay, so it's not... So what's happening is it's always going in that same direction. It's going to the left, even when it's spinning. So what we need to do now is double-click the particle layer and say rotate to follow path. So what that's going to do is rotate the shape itself. So I think now it snapped back to its original position, but we're going to turn it again. Okay, that's better. Now you can see the difference of how it's kind of spinning with the circle? Sorry, I don't know why I'm doing this with my head. You guys can tell what a circle is. But now it's going along with the circle, and that's what we want. So we want that, but the particles are going way too far out. So let's, we'll just stop at any frame. It doesn't really matter. Or frame 0. Let's go into the particles one more time, or maybe several times. And then dampening actually will slow down the process of particles shooting out. So if we turn the dampening up, you'll see that it pulls those particles in a little bit. So now we have the particles a little closer to the circle. Let's see how that looks. That looks pretty good. Oh, whoa. And we kind of want the sparks to disappear too. So let's see. Let's go into the sparks and just our single spark. What we'll do is let me zoom in here real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Q and select the spark itself. Then I'm going to select the fill. And then I'm just clicking back up to the transparency and pulling it up. The only reason I'm doing this is to create a keyframe. Oh, I need to be on frame 1. So frame 1, pull it up. Okay, creates a keyframe. And all it's creating a keyframe for is the opacity, how see-through it is. Do you know how many people draw Rick and Morty? Do you know how many people draw Rick and Morty? How many people work on the cartoon? I'm not sure. I actually was working on Rick and Morty today. I was going to show you guys that too. So, and then frame 24, Oops, it's because it's rotating somewhere. I'll select the fill again, hit OK, and all that's doing is saying from frame 1 to frame 24 be solid. And now I'm going to go to frame 36, if I can find it. I don't know where it is. It's spinning along this. Oh, there it is. I see it. Frame 36. It's really hard to see because I made it so small. Right there. And it's still selected, so now I'll just select the fill and go down to the very bottom of the transparency, so basically 0. So all it's doing is going, it's visible until 24, and then it starts to fade out, basically. So let's go to sparks. So now we're seeing all the particles together. How many people? Let's see. So now it should. Oh, I need to change. So right now I think the particle options lifetimes is set to 24. We want to set it to 36 because that's how long that fading animation is. So we'll just do that real quick. So they're shooting out a little farther. You can kind of even see it here. If I move it, the sparks are starting to just kind of disappear down here. But they're way too fast. So let's turn up the dampening again. That looks all right. So now we've got that spinning around. And the sparks are way too big, so all I have to do to change that is go in, and I'm going to make this a little smaller, so I'm going to hit T, and just make that really a lot tinier, and that's it. When we go back into the particle layers, now they're all tiny. So it's, let me do a Command R and render. So now we've got these little particles. So we're just going to do the same thing that we did before. I'll go ahead and collapse these. So we have the sparks, and then we have the shield spinning. So I'm going to go ahead and make a group. I'll just call it strange effect. And grab the sparks and the shield and drag them in there. Then I have, the reason I'm putting them into another folder is so now I can grab it and move it around. Because if I did that with the sparks by themselves and tried to realign, it would just be really difficult to do. So now I can reshape this and resize it and stuff. So make this a little smaller. And we have this effect. The sparks are probably not going to look great, but you guys will kind of get the idea. Now with that, I'll duplicate just like we did at the beginning. Double click and change the layer blending mode to add. Again, this is to make it look like it's glowing. And then blur it just a little bit. So 3 and apply. Then we're just going to duplicate those folders. All we're doing is making more copies. And the reason we're making more copies is to make the glow brighter. So we'll do like 5. Let me go ahead and do a Command R and render it just so we can kind of see. So see, it's taking way longer now because we have all those particles, but it's starting to render. It's you can see the process. It renders the first folder, then the second folder, and then the third. And then we'll do one more. And I'll double click this one. Turn the blur radius up to 11. Apply that. And then, just like we did before for you guys who didn't see, we're going to go ahead and go into the circles, do a Command A, select all of them, W to make them the width wider, and then we'll just pull that up so it's real thick, and I'll just render, just so you can see the circle. So now the circle should have a bigger kind of halo around it. So now it's rendering. The last one, see the kind of popped out? And it's very not, what's the word? The effect is not minute. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? It's it's subtle. That's the word I was looking for. But when you don't see it, it's noticeable. So now I'm just grabbing the shapes and making all the lines thicker. But since all the animations are the same, it's just going to look like it's a glow as opposed to a different animation. So selecting shape, Command A to select all the lines, and then W, making it bigger. Oops. Dang it. I don't know what I did there. W, there we go. Thickness. Missing something. I missed some shapes somewhere. And then we're going to do the exact same thing with the spark. So if I do a Command R and render, it's true. Hard to come by, man. Even if you work late, it's... Oh, I did something. I messed something up because now one of the brown lines is showing. What happened there? Let me do a Command Z. I'm going to go back for a second. What? Command R. Okay. And same thing with the sparks. So all I'm doing with the spark is I'm grabbing that single spark. I'm going to make it bigger. Command A, so it's selected, and then just hold Option down so it's directly above it. Make it a little bit bigger. Oh shoot, need to be on frame 0. It's going to mess everything up if I do it out there. So go to frame 0, select that spark, make it way bigger. And there we go. So now it looks like those big ones are covering up all the others, but remember it's just a glow effect. So Command R. Now they should have a really big glow around the sparks too. It takes a long time, man. There it goes. So see, now we've got these sparks. Let me go ahead and render that. It shouldn't take too long. We'll just do a small render, just so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. Sparks. We'll just call this one Sparks. And while we're waiting, you guys can ask me stuff. I don't know why. I don't know. Is the chat show up on your guys' end on YouTube on the right side? Because it says it's disabled for me, and I don't know why. Oh, okay. As long as it shows up for you guys. I can't see it, and I can only see it in like the YouTube channel viewers or some, something weird like that. But the sparks are something, I just kind of figured out how to do that today, and it works, but you really have to tweak with the settings. This may not even look very good, but you kind of get the idea. It does look like Doctor Strange's Sheild. That I cannot talk, man. It looks like the sparks flying off like they do on the movies. It's just you gotta tweak it, and there's particle layers is really finicky, but you can do all kinds of cool stuff. I can show you guys one of the torch animation. While that's rendering, let me look for that real quick. Just so you can see how it works. While that's rendering, I'm going to open this up. So this is something that I made a long time ago for my patrons. And so you can see right here, I have this torch. Let me get that glow out of here. So I have a brown flame, and you can see how when I play it, it just floats up in the air. But it's cool because when you move your object, the flame will actually react to, kind of in real time. So it doesn't look very cool like this, but when I render it, that's the hard thing about particles. You don't know what they look like until you actually render them out. So I'll go ahead and render this out too. Actually, let's check out the sparks. I think it's done. Maybe not. It's close. Oh no, here. Wait. No, this is the shield. This is the first one without the sparks. For those of you guys who didn't see it, but this is just the spinning a little too fast, but I'll show you to make that part right there. And then, where is... May take a while for the sparks one. Might have to close it. Oops. Let me show you this one instead. Export. We'll do that real quick. Fire. This is pretty cool, I think. I mean, if you guys ever need to make torches or any kind of fire, I actually even made a blowtorch, a flamethrower. So see this, it's rendering right now. It didn't look cool, you know, in the window, but check that out. Kind of looks like fire. Oh, okay, so here, while that's rendering, let's check the sparks out and see what this is all. Play. I'm trying to do too much stuff, man. Hold on. We'll wait for that torch to stop rendering. Okay, come on. There we go. Okay, so that stopped. Let's do this one first. The sparks don't look that great. I swear I made them better, but you're going pretty slow. But you can tweak it, I swear to you, so it looks really cool and it looks like they're flying off, just like the movie. But this is the ghetto version. This is, but it's all right, you know. At least you guys kind of get the idea of the glow and this and that. And because I just have a black background, but you can actually put this on like video footage, you know. Actually, I should do that. Like use actual real life, just use my camera and film myself trying to do, you know, see if this looks good as a real special effect, not just a cartoon effect. So there's that. And then, so again, this animation looks pretty bland and boring. It's just brown flames, doesn't look really like fire. You know, you can see this up close, but when it's rendered, because we were using the same technique where you blur it and do this and that, well, I rendered it pretty small so it doesn't look as good, but hopefully you guys can see that that kind of looks like fire. Maybe I'll render it a little better. Let me do that real quick. It doesn't take too long. File, export animation. Do it at full resolution. Do that real quick. And did I hit render? Okay, there we go. Oh, by the way, whoever was talking about Rick and Morty, I did not mean to wear this shirt, but yeah, man, I'm working on some Rick and Morty. I was gonna, so this is what I've started so far. while the other thing's rendering. And yeah, it's Rick Sanchez, man. With he's rigged to a 3/4 to a front position. So I know it looks really complicated, but actually I have this bone here. Let me go ahead and delete all the animation real quick. Clear animation from document. So if we go into the timeline, I actually have it rigged so I grab this bone and you can see his head just turns left and right and looks up and down, depending on where I pull into this circle. So it's really easy to, have him looking in different positions. The up and down's not perfect yet, but it looks pretty good. So I can have him talking and then move this head, and then I have his eyebrows rigged. So I have the upper eyelids and lower eyelids. So it's really easy to animate him. Eye position and head turn I don't need anymore because the head turn and head tilt are duplicated over here, which are making and using targeting. So you can see those move because they're duplicated over here. So I don't have to use the these two right there. That in order to do so, yeah, it does. Hey Tim. Yeah, you do have to allow Streamlabs to access. As a person getting donations, you have to give them permission to do that. I was okay with that, but I wasn't aware that you'd have to do that. So I'm gonna have to change that because I really don't. I wouldn't want you guys to have to do that just in order to donate. I don't know. I don't know how Super Chat works on YouTube. It says that it's enabled, so like you can donate here on YouTube too, but I have no idea how that works, man. I'm still trying to figure it out. So, but yeah, I actually was gonna start recreating this rig so you guys could check it out because I thought a lot of people would like to see Rick and Morty, or at least Rick and Morty type characters, and how to make them and move them. And I don't think I'm gonna do a full body turn. I think this is more than enough is to have a 3/4, to look. 95% of the animation would be, forward facing and stuff like that. So his head's rigged like that, but then I also have his body rigged so he's facing forward, but you can turn his body to the right. I don't know if I have it to the left yet. Nope. So it turns. So he's got this 3/4 position. Then I have different hands that I made for him already. I don't know where his other hand disappeared to. And then the feet turn as well. So you can grab them and kind of turn them around too. So so if I turn him, check it out, like this. Let's go back into his head for a second. Okay. Look this way, grab his eyes. Then his eyebrow, his unibrow, is just one long, tube. But I can move those around. Oops. Like that. Actually, we can make him run. I can actually, I'll have him, have him look down. Have his eyes wide open. And I thought I had his mouth rigged. Maybe I do in a different one. We'll have him screaming. Like that. And then I can make a really quick run cycle. I don't know why his hand disappeared though. So let's do this. I'll create a keyframe. And I'm just going to make him run. So I'm going to, whoops. What is going on? His leg isn't quite right. The target bones are off. Super Chat takes 45% of your money? Whoa. What? That's insane. That's kind of why I wanted to use Streamlabs, but 45%? That's crazy. Hello. Holy smokes. Wow, I didn't have any idea that they did that. That's a lot. Hand poses, yeah, they're really tough. I just look at references. So hands, I kind of what I do is I'm just creating a new document real quick so you can see. Let's do a skin color. I'll just start with a square like this, and I'll just add points to make a hand really quick. But when I'm making my hand poses, it really takes a while for me to get them to look the way I want. So this is one hand. Wait. And a lot of times I'll just draw like the thumb or something like that. And instead of doing a bunch of different fingers, I'll just draw one finger, and then I'll hit S and draw another one on top of it, and then just erase part of the line, just so it looks like they blend together. So it's a little easier to manipulate them and move them around on top of each other. It's a really bad hand. He's got elephantitis or something. But that's the thing, is it takes a while. But if you do them in pieces, like different fingers, it's easier to copy, move one underneath the other and stuff like that. So, but yeah, hands are difficult. Like that. It's a horrible hand. But I was doing that in a couple seconds, so. But that's kind of how I go about making hands. Maybe I'll make a tutorial on just hands for you, because I know that's something I struggled with a ton. Was trying to figure out hands. There is a really cool place called Cartoon Solutions. If you guys are having trouble with hand poses, backgrounds, or even characters themselves, they sell Anime Studio all that stuff, props, backgrounds, and characters too that are already rigged and whatnot. So even if you guys don't know how to do art at all, have trouble drawing, you can still buy some really cool stuff from Cartoon Solutions. I'm going to try and make my own hand packs and stuff like that. My character does come with, my Poptoogi character comes with a hand set of I think 12 or so different hand poses. But I'm going to make more. So yeah. And I'm trying to set up a store too. Like on Gumroad, I think a lot of people sell their stuff on there. It's just like a digital store. So I can start putting my stuff, my characters and all that stuff on there. My patrons get everything that I put out all the time. Like I give them my work files and my backgrounds and all that stuff. I've been horrible at being consistent, so that's kind of why I'm doing the live streams, is so I can put more work out and kind of just put myself out there for you guys. So please make a cracking egg. Ooh, I think I can do that. Yeah, that'd be cool. I think I can. I think I can help you out with that. That will be. What's up, Russia? Tofik? Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Tofik. Tofik. But what's up? I don't know how to say hello in Russian. Man, I wish I knew. India? What? That's so cool, man. That's sweet. Cracking an egg. Do you mean cracking an egg like into a pan and then having it land in a frying pan or something like that, or just like a creature hatching? Because those would be kind of different. Like I could animate a hands holding an egg and cracking it, and having it go into the pan, or have a little egg, you know, hatching like that. Yeah, exactly. I definitely can do that. Have it wiggle a little bit. Privet. Did I say it right? Privet? Probably said it with a really bad accent. Does the R roll? Privet. Cool, man. So yeah, Rick Sanchez. Actually, that's what I was going to start working on. So this is what I was going to start. I'll just start doing it now. I mean, I'm sitting here. I'm doing it. So I picked out all of his colors, his color swatches or color scheme from the character. And then I went and found a model sheet, but then I redrew it so I could use it myself. And I'm going to bring it in now. Whoa, it's really big. There's Rick, just standing there chilling, looking forward. My favorite cartoon. And just going to use this as a base layer. From Turkey, just woke up. It is 3:30 in the morning here. But I work at night, so I get off at 1 in the morning, so I'm alright. I'm not really alright. I don't like working at night, but it is what it is. So I just have this picture of Rick that I redrew, and I'm going to use that as a base to start the actual character in Anime Studio. So I gotta run. Thought Boss, see ya, man. Thanks for stopping in. Have a great day, dude. 1:40 p.m. Just nice afternoon. It's probably really nice there too. We had a tornado warning today. It's kind of scary, actually. Okay, so here's Rick, and I have this entire front view, and I'm just going to start with his head. So I'm going to go ahead and double click that, type in head, and I will start by drawing a circle, and I'm going to go ahead and actually I'm not going to fill it. I'm just going to use the stroke, and I'm going to make the stroke a different, like a light green, just so it's really easy to tell what's what I've drawn as opposed to the drawing underneath. So hit S, draw a circle. Actually, let's turn the width down a little bit to 3. Hit OK. How about anime? Because it's Anime Studio. Are you saying I should make more anime characters? That's what's going on? Yeah, people have been asking me about Naruto and what was the other one? Naruto. My favorite anime, I know I told you guys last time, for those of you who were here before, Ghost in the Shell. Best movie, anime movie I've ever seen. So I got the circle. That's just his head shape. They're all going to be different layers, so we'll just leave it like that. I'll actually go ahead and draw his eye, because that's going to be something that's kind of tricky for people. So eye, or let's do left eye. Type that in. I'm going to turn the grid on, Command G, and then I'm going to hit Command Shift G and type in, instead of 20, I'm going to type in 10, and it's going to make the grid smaller. That. For hatching an animation. So what you could do, I'll come back to Rick. Let's go to New. Let's check out, let's do an egg. So the first part of cracking an egg, I would create an egg. Oops. Fill, auto stroke, let's do. So I would just draw an egg shape. And that's a weird egg, bro. Let's get it more eggy. There we go, that's kind of egg shape. So I would do that first, is just have the shape, egg, and then we could just draw the cracks. I might do this separately too. I'm going to create a new vector and call it cracks. And, well, let's do with points. So I'm going to add points. So we'll just add a crack there. And then it's not filled or anything yet, so I'll go ahead and select it. I'll hit U, select the line, and then hit spacebar. Or if you're in Moho, you would create shape. Just click that. Do the same for this one. Hit create shape. And then we can use W to change the width of the cracks so it's a little bit more realistic. Make parts thinner and thinner, like that. And then, since we're using a stroke, we can just use the stroke exposure tool. So let's go ahead, go to frame 0, select the stroke exposure tool with the stroke selected. I'm going to left click and drag back to the left, and see how it looks like it's disappearing. And we can do the same here. Make this one disappear. And then we can go forward in the timeline and drag it forward a little bit. Oops. Let's do the big line first. So select it. Stroke exposure tool. Go to frame 3. Go forward. Actually, we can go to whatever point we want, 18, and then just drag it all the way over. Then we can change how fast it's cracking by just moving this keyframe. So if I move it closer to 0, it's going to do it faster. That's way too fast. Now, if you want it to just automatically just do like that, you want it to kind of crack and then crack a little more and crack a little more, what you would do is you would go forward in the timeline, pull it forward. It makes that keyframe. Then I would copy it. I would just select those, Command C, and then go forward, Command V to paste. So it stops there for a little bit. Then go forward some more, drag it forward, select those, copy, paste, go forward, right there, I'll copy, paste, and then go to the bottom. So it kind of stutters. And you can just separate those keyframes a little farther so it can just, however you want to speed it up or slow it down. And then, since we can find right where it cracks here for the second crack. So I'm just pulling it right there. We can start the second line, so we'll click here, or select it, and use the stroke exposure tool. I'm just clicking it, dragging it forward and then back, just so it gives us a starting point. And then we'll go forward, crack down like that, copy, paste, so it stops for a little bit, and then finishes cracking. That's still really fast, but again, it's just how you space out the keyframes to make it crack. But then, the tricky part is breaking it apart. So, tap those, crack. Might have to do it in different parts. I'm just thinking of this as we're talking about it. Maybe it would be better, instead of all that, let's delete those cracks for a second. I'm going to use this as a kind of template, or place to start with the egg. So what I'm going to do, this is the egg completely together. Now I'm going to let's do this. Vector egg part 1. And I'm going to go ahead and draw out shape. And I'm going to kind of just overlay or overlap parts of it. And I'm going to reshape this until it looks like it's just, oops, because we want pieces. Oops. So I'm actually going to draw different pieces. This egg has problems. Nice. And like that. You can fine-tune it, This egg is a little lumpy. Obviously, it's having problems. But we'll make different parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw. So here's one part. And then I'll go ahead and do egg part 2. How about backgrounds in different view? No, just go to... What's that? I'm not sure what you mean. No, just go to Rivik. I'm not sure. Egg part 2. Let's do... Oops. You know what? It's probably easier to start off with a square. And then I'm just moving these points real quick. I'm going to kind of match them up to the other part. Let's turn that. And we'll do one more part real quick. Egg. Now this is really fast. I'm not trying to be like super accurate with it, but I'm just testing this out real quick to see what this might look like. And all I'm doing is hitting A and adding new points and then dragging them, and then hitting C to make them curve out. So like that. I mean, if you take your time, you can make it look good. Let's move this. Make the cracks look good. That's a horrible looking egg. But let's see here. Then, so we can't have it. We can't use the stroke exposure because what it's going to do is if I select one part, it's only going to, where is it? Oops. Stroke exposure. It's not going to take apart or take away the part that we want. So, probably need to hide those edges. So let me hide them. Let's hide those. All I'm doing is hiding the inner edges right now. So I'm clicking on the parts and holding my mouse button down and hiding them. Oops. Here, let me move them apart so I can see what I'm doing. So there's one. There's another part. Here's the third one. So let's select a part, hide edge tool. We'll just click on the edges that we want to hide. And then put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Ah, this is horrible. Horrible shape. The egg has spoiled for sure. But you know, if you're taking your time making it look good, you can make it look really nice. But I'm just kind of doing this for a second, and I think so. Here's something that you guys should know too. Is like I probably built this wrong, but so this is the point of origin. It's this little cross. So if I move this somewhere else, that's going to affect where something rotates or transforms from. Hey, what's up? So if I do, no, let me go back. So if I do a transform layer tool, you can see this pops up, and if I grab the inner square in between the two squares, it rotates. It actually rotates where this point is. So it's just a good little trick to actually move this point. So say if you want the egg to crack and you want it to fall apart from here and pop away, now we can select it, and if I grab the rotate, it actually cracks, or it pivots on that point instead. So you can have it kind of crack open, and then same with the second part, we can move that point of origin to wherever, like right here, and have that kind of pop open that way. As opposed to if the point of origin was right here, you'd have problems with moving it or rotating. I mean, you can animate it by just moving it, but if you want it to kind of like break open or break apart, it's kind of nice to have this point of origin, so you can click on it and be like, then have their little vector. Oh wait, I already have a little round thing. Let's just do this. Like that. Make a couple eyes. Grab that, copy paste. Copy paste this. I don't know what this is. It's just a little creature. make it a little bit smaller. Put them underneath. I still have to figure out how to make the line go around, though. You know, once it, because you want to see the lines cracking, so you want to do the stroke exposure. So I guess what you could do is just draw over the top. So let me see here. You know, this is kind of how I think when I'm animating. So if I'm mumbling a lot, you guys, you know, pay no mind. So let's see. So if we had this crack, let me just pull this apart real quick. And I'm going to do another layer. Call this crack 1. And I'm just going to use the egg itself so I don't have to redraw it. So let's select this. I hit G. I'm going to select where the crack is. So just all of these points, I'm going to do Command C to copy. Go to crack 1. Paste. So it's directly on top of it. Now I can do select it and create shape, or hit spacebar. And did that make a stroke? Where is it? Crack 1. Stroke. Where is it? That's weird. So you see what I'm trying to do, guys? What I mean is background and different angle. Oh, I got you. Why isn't this... Okay, there's something weird going on here. Because I have this new line, which is the crack, the part I want to animate. Oh, maybe it's... This goes... Oh, crap. Let's see. Why is this... Stroke. It's not letting me create the shape. I'm trying to make this a line by itself. Zero, zero. Doing backgrounds in different angles is you just have to draw them in different angles. But as far as how you plan it, that is a good question, because now I'm thinking about like Family Guy or American Dad or something like that. And they do have different shots, like of the kitchen from the front view, and then they go to a different shot. Yeah, you just have to, I mean, you have to recreate the image in a different view. I don't think there's any easy way to do it, because you just have to be good at drawing perspectives and things like that. I don't know. That's a good question, though. I think I'm gonna look into that too, because I know how to change scenes, but different angles. I don't know. I'll work on that. But if you guys are watching the egg, watching my egg, that's why I hid those. Oh, that's right. Oh, see, that's exactly what it is. Watch. As soon as I do hide points, I bet. Wait. That's got to be what it is. Okay. Spacebar. There it is. There they are, kind of. What is going on here? Okay. That's exactly what it was. Thank you so much. Patham? I don't know. I'm always scared to say people's names. Patham. If I didn't say it right, I'm really, really sorry. But thank you so much. That's exactly why it wasn't working. I hid those points when I was making the actual egg. So now I can just put that right back on top. And then use the stroke, the thing I showed you at the very beginning, where you just can kind of make it crack, crack, like that. And what I would do probably is just group those together so they don't, so you can go like group, egg part 1, and crack. So crazy sounding. So we'll put those both together. So now, if you have it in position, you can animate the crack. Oops, that's because I have it underneath those two. So now I can animate it cracking by itself, you know, however you want it to. And then instead of selecting the egg part, select the folder and then move that. This is a bad example because it's the bottom, but then I can grab it and move it, and it'll move together with that line that you just created too. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. Oops. So yeah, I mean that's how I would start doing it. Oops. Let's go back. Egg. The crack. So yeah, I would go to frame 1. Let's take that. Oops. Didn't want to move it. Okay, something went wrong. There we go. Okay. So here's our crack. Go to frame 1. Hide everything. Hide the line that we made. And then go forward. Let me get rid of this animation here for those other parts. So frame 1. It's not visible. Go forward. Crack it a little bit. Copy, paste, so it cracks up to there, and then a little farther, copy, paste, put some space in there just so it stops, and then crack some more, copy, paste, and then cracks again. So yeah, you can have your egg crack like that, and then if you want the parts to fall apart, you can just move those. So don't know why so it pop out. Oops. You don't want it animating before it's done cracking, so let's go all the way to where it cracks. Click on the point of rotation where it's done and then rotate it. Otherwise, that would look silly. So it cracks, cracks, cracks. Boop! I don't know. That's one way to do it. I'm sure there's different ways to do it, but I don't know. It looks pretty good to me. I think if you fine-tune it, it should work pretty good. So I hope you like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. And actually, I'm taking this out for just a second, the crack. I want to see something else. Egg. Trying to take out all the animation because I also want to see if we can just use physics. So let's do this. Let's grab all of our parts. This is without the cracking. animation. But we're going to drag all of our parts into this folder. Come on now. Do that. Our little dude, we'll get rid of him. The yoke man. And I'm going to zoom out real quick. I'm going to go ahead and go to frame 0. I'm going to draw a ground layer. So I'm going to put that at the bottom. I'm going to draw a little ground for our physics. I'm going to double click this, physics, enable physics, and apply. And I'm going to double click the ground because I don't want it to move, and say non-moving objects and apply. Okay. And now we have an egg kind of put together. Really horrible egg. But all those parts, even though it looks, let me render it. So it looks like it's together, or it's one object. You can kind of see the crack here, but that's just because I wasn't being very careful. And let's go ahead and just let's just drop it. It, it didn't break. Kind of just, a little bit. Kind of broke. Very slowly. But yeah, you could use physics too if you want it to crack open. You just have to make some more parts and stuff. Put a little bit of shaking. Oh yeah. Let's do that. So before it even cracks, let's do that. Let's take the physics off so we can give it a little shake. So here's a good way to make it shake. Turn off the physics. Let's get rid of this ground. The physics animation has been baked in. It means that it's just been made keyframes for everything, so I gotta get rid of those. Okay, now it's sitting there together, but it's all in one folder. So even though it's in parts, since it's in one folder, it'll act as one object. So I'll go ahead and put the point of origin at the bottom. So when I transform the layer, I can move it like this, and it shakes from the bottom. And I'll just rotate it just a little bit. Actually, on frame 1, rotate it just a tiny bit. Right-click on the keyframe and say noisy. This is going to be way too noisy though, watch. Oh, maybe not. So it just randomly shakes. If you change the amplitude, it's going to get really wild. Oh, I think my camera just turned off. I'm still here though. Can you guys still hear me? Is this on? I think okay. I'm just turning my camera on. I think the battery died. So yeah, the amplitude is the amount in which it jiggles. So if you turn it way down, I'm just going to type 0.2, maybe. Then you get this little jiggling effect. Like that. So it's really easy to make a really random kind of jiggling. So you can do that. You can go forward a little bit, click the rotate button, and then just change that to linear so it stops. And I can just copy that noisy keyframe. Copy, paste, and copy and paste the linear one so it stops and starts. So it'll jiggle, stop, and jiggle, stop. Just, you know, kind of whatever you want it to do. So yeah, it should be pretty cool. And let's see here. Oh man. But I think I was gonna go ahead and start making Rick and Morty, or I mean Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty, but my throat's starting to hurt a little bit from talking, so I might hop off here in a little bit. Do you guys have any questions or anything before I go? I really like that I can talk to you guys and just kind of answer questions and stuff. So it's pretty cool, man. I'm really liking this going live thing. I hope you guys do too. Let's see. Oh, I'll finish making an eye. So if you guys seen me make eyes on my other characters, I use masking and stuff like that. But let's see. Of course I want to see your creation. Yeah. Can I? Can you send me a link or just even, or send it to me? Because I would really like to see it. I love looking at other people's artwork. Fight scenes, it depends on what kind of fight scene you want. If you're doing like an anime fight scene with a whole bunch of different angles, it's actually probably easier to do with frame by frame, but that's really difficult and it's really time consuming. I did make, have you ever seen my, just go to Rick. Let's see. I show you how to do a fight scene, but it's more of just how you can interact with characters. So this is let me see if I can move it into this frame. This right here.
In Anime Studio. Fight. This is my boy T The Rock. He's gonna be my sparring partner. I'm gonna show you how to do some moves, a little razzmatazz, and yeah, man, let's get started. Let me show you some of my moves first. So what you got, man? Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. What you got? Oh. Ooh, is you not ready? My bad. Oh, no. Wait.
So that sorry, I had to watch it. I haven't seen that for a while, so but that's just two characters being stationary. You know, but I think it's probably I can probably do a better example like using stick figures fighting because that's really easy to make them look 3D. So, and those were rig characters. See your background? Can you send it to me or how can I see it? Because I do want to see it. You only need something like that? Well, check that video out first and see if it makes sense to you. If not, just ask me more questions on how to do certain things. But that one would help. Maybe even there's a soccer one. It shows you how to use physics with characters that are rigged. Kind of fake them out. Here it is. Oh. What? Can I download it? How do I see it? Okay, yeah, just ask me questions whenever. You can send me a message on Facebook too. Just look up Poptoogi on Facebook. Click this link. I don't. It won't show a link on my chat. Let me check. Let me see if I can see it in the YouTube. Let me see. Oh wait. Oh, now I can see chat. Here we go. Click this link. Huh. Or copy to browser. I don't. It's not letting me see it for some reason. Copy. Click on the link. It just says click on the link, but there's nothing there. Maybe let me see if I can. Can you? I'm gonna try and send my link to you, Facebook. Did that pop up? You can send it to me right there. And you can send it in a message right there, and I'll take a look at it. Let me check. You have some creations? Hey man, if you ever want me to check them out on the live stream, or if you have any problems with any characters and stuff like that, I think that would be cool if you send them to me, and then I can bring them up on screen and we can work on them together and stuff. So I think that'd be cool. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let me check my Facebook and see if it's there. I got a note, or I got a message, I think. Let me see. Yeah, inbox. Something's here. Let me check real quick. Whoa. Whew. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Facebook and stuff too at the same time. I'm sorry. Your Facebook ID got banned? Your Facebook got banned. Oh yeah, you can email me too. Just you can email it to poptoogi@gmail.com. Here. That should work. And I'll take a look for sure. Ooh, okay. It's almost 4 o'clock in the morning here, guys, so I am getting super sleepy. And my throat kind of hurts a little bit, so I'm going to go to bed, but I will definitely keep doing this. Try and do some more in the weekday, and also try and kind of post when I'm going to do it, so it's not just a surprise. But I'll definitely come back on the weekend too. So yeah, like I said, if you guys have any questions anytime, just send me a message on Facebook or just email me. Cool? But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night or a good day, whatever it may be. But I will see you guys again soon. All right, cool. I'll check it out. I'm gonna check out my email. I'll email you back. All right, take it easy. Bye, guys.